The billionaire refused to pay my $150,000 invoice, so I foreclosed on his $50 million hotel. The grand opening was scheduled for Saturday night. It was going to be the event of the year. The Royal Monarch, a $50 million luxury hotel in downtown Miami, was finally opening its doors. Marcus King, the billionaire developer, was on the news, bragging about the crystal chandeliers and the rooftop pool. He invited politicians, celebrities, and investors. He needed this night to be perfect because he was over-leveraged and needed the cash flow to pay his massive bank loans. But on Friday morning, 24 hours before the red carpet was rolled out, the lights went out. Not physically, but legally. I sat in my truck across the street, watching Marcus scream at a FedEx delivery driver. He had just received a document stamped by the county clerk. It wasn't a congratulations card. It was a notice of foreclosure. Marcus thought he could stiff me on the final payment. He owed my small electrical company $150,000. He told me to sue him if I wanted the money, knowing a lawsuit would take years. But he forgot one detail about construction law. In America, if you don't pay the people who built your building, they own a piece of your building. It's called a mechanic's lien. And because I had filed that lien, his bank had just frozen his accounts. He couldn't buy champagne, he couldn't pay the valet staff, and most importantly, the city wouldn't give him the permit to open the doors. He thought I was just an electrician. He didn't realize I had the power to turn his $50 million asset into a dark, empty tomb. Here's the story of how I used a single piece of paper to bring a billionaire to his knees.
My name is Tom. I own Spark Electric. We aren't a big company, just me, my brother, and 3 apprentices. We specialize in high-end commercial wiring. Getting the contract for the Royal Monarch felt like winning the lottery. It was a massive job, wiring the lobby, the ballroom, the kitchen, and 200 guest rooms. The contract was worth $1 million. Marcus King hired us personally. He met me at the construction site, wearing a hard hat that looked too clean. "Tom," he said, flashing a bright white smile, "I like you. You're hungry. The big firms are too slow. I need this hotel done in 6 months. Can you handle the pressure?" "We can do it, Mr. King," I promised. "But we need progress payments. Materials are expensive." "Of course," he said. "You submit the invoice, I cut the check. My word is my bond." For the first 4 months, everything was great. We worked 12-hour days. We ran miles of copper wire. We installed complex lighting systems that could change color with an app. The payments came in on time. But then we reached the final phase, the finish work. This is when you install the expensive fixtures, the chandeliers, the sconces, the dimmers. This is also the dangerous part of any construction job. The developer has almost everything he needs, but his budget is running low. I submitted invoice number 5 for $150,000. It covered the final labor and the custom lighting fixtures we had already installed. Usually, payment takes 30 days. 30 days passed, no check. 45 days passed, no check. I called the accounts payable department. "Sorry, Tom," the secretary said. "Mr. King hasn't signed off on it yet. He's very busy with the opening." I drove to the site. The hotel was buzzing. Painters were touching up the walls. Furniture was being moved in. It was 99% done. I found Marcus King in the lobby, yelling at a carpet installer. "Mr. King," I said, "I need to get paid. I have to pay my suppliers. I'm carrying $80,000 in material costs on my personal credit card." King turned to me. His smile was gone. His eyes were cold. "Tom," he said, "we have a problem. I did a walkthrough yesterday. The lights in the ballroom flicker, and the outlets in the penthouse are crooked. I'm not paying for defective work." "That's a lie," I said, trying to stay calm. "The flickering is because your AV team overloaded the circuit, and the outlets are laser leveled. I checked them myself." "I disagree," King shrugged. "Fix it, then we can talk about payment. Maybe I'll pay you half. Consider it a penalty for poor performance." "Half?" I felt the blood rushing to my face. The contract says full payment upon completion. The work is done. If you don't pay, I'll have to stop work." King stepped closer. He invaded my personal space. "Listen to me, Sparky. The hotel opens in 2 weeks. If you touch one wire, I'll sue you for sabotage. You want your money? Sue me. My lawyers will drag it out until your grandkids are in college. Take the loss and walk away. It's business." He walked away, leaving me standing in the lobby I had lit up. He was doing what billionaires often do to small contractors. It's called the squeeze. They know we live paycheck to paycheck. They know we can't afford legal fees. So they withhold the last payment, knowing we will eventually settle for pennies just to survive. But King made a miscalculation. He didn't know that my father was a contractor too, and my father taught me one thing: never let a rich man steal your sweat. I went home and told my brother. He wanted to go back with a baseball bat and smash the chandeliers. "No," I said, "that's vandalism. We go to jail. We need to hit him where it hurts, his wallet." I pulled out the contract. I didn't call a regular lawyer. I called a specialist in construction litigation. His name was Saul. He worked out of a strip mall, but he was a bulldog. "Did you serve the notice to owner?" Saul asked immediately. "Yes," I said. "I sent the preliminary mail via certified mail on day 1 of the job." "Good boy," Saul grinned. "That means your lien rights are perfected. King thinks he owns that hotel. Wrong. Until he pays you, you own a piece of it." Here is how a mechanic's lien works. It is a legal claim against a property by a contractor who hasn't been paid. Once a lien is recorded with the county, it clouds the title. Why does that matter? The owner cannot sell the property. The owner cannot refinance. But most importantly for a new hotel, the construction lender will stop funding. Banks hate liens. If a bank sees a lien on a project, they freeze the construction draw. That means King wouldn't get the cash he needed to pay the caterers, the valets, or the marketing team for the grand opening. "We have to move fast," Saul said. "The opening is in 2 weeks. If we file the lien today, it hits the public record by Friday. His bank will see it Monday morning." We drafted the paperwork. Claim of lien. Amount $150,000, plus legal fees and interest. I drove to the county clerk's office myself. I paid the $50 filing fee. I watched the clerk stamp it. Ka-thunk. That sound was sweeter than any music. But I knew King wouldn't notice immediately. He was too arrogant. He probably had assistants handling his mail. I needed to make sure he felt the pain before the opening. So Saul sent a copy of the lien not just to King, but to his lender, First National Bank of Miami. Monday morning arrived. I was working on a small residential job when my phone rang. It wasn't King. It was his lawyer. "This is Mr. Sterling, representing Royal Monarch," the voice boomed. "We received your frivolous lien filing. You need to remove it immediately. This is slander of title. We will sue you for damages if the opening is delayed." "It's not frivolous," I said, putting down my wire strippers. "I have the signed work orders. I have the inspection sign-offs from the city inspector approving the electrical work. The work is done. Pay the invoice and I remove the lien." "We dispute the quality," the lawyer said. "We are offering you $50,000 to settle today. Take it and release the lien." They were scared. They were offering 1/3 of what they owed me just to make the problem go away quickly. "No," I said. "Full payment, $150,000. Wire transfer." "We will see you in court," the lawyer threatened. "Okay," I said. "But tell me, can you open a hotel without a certificate of occupancy? Because the city won't issue a CO if there's an active lien dispute on the critical infrastructure." Silence. I had him. The Certificate of Occupancy, CO, is the legal document that allows people to enter the building. Without it, the grand opening is just an illegal gathering in a construction site. I hung up. The clock was ticking. The grand opening was Saturday. It was now Monday. King had 5 days to pay me, or his $50 million party would happen in the dark.
Wednesday came, 3 days before the opening. I was at my small office organizing receipts when my phone blew up. It wasn't King.
It was the project manager for the hotel, a guy named Steve who I actually liked. "Tom," Steve whispered, sounding terrified, "what did you do? The bank just froze the construction draw. We can't pay the caterers. We can't pay the valet company. The florists just turned their trucks around because the wire transfer bounced." "I filed a lien, Steve," I said. "King didn't pay me." "He is on a warpath," Steve warned. "He is coming to see you right now, and he brought his security." 10 minutes later, a black Bentley screeched into the parking lot of my modest workshop. Marcus King jumped out. He wasn't wearing his fake hard hat today. He was wearing an Italian suit, and his face was red with rage. 2 large bodyguards stood behind him. He kicked my office door open. "You remove that lien right now!" King screamed, slamming his fist on my desk. "Do you know who I am? I will bury you. I will make sure you never work in this city again." I remained seated. I took a sip of my coffee. "Good morning to you too, Marcus." "The bank cut off my funding," he yelled. "They saw the lien. They won't release the final $5 million until the title is clear. I have vendors waiting for checks. You are ruining my opening." "You ruined it yourself," I said calmly. "You tried to squeeze me for $150,000. Now you are losing millions. It's simple math, Marcus." "I'll pay you 50 grand, he bargained, his voice desperate. "Cash, right now, in this bag." He motioned to his bodyguard, who held a duffel bag. "No," I said. "The price is $150,000, plus $10,000 for my lawyer, plus interest." "I don't have it," King shouted. "My cash is tied up in the build. That's why I need the bank draw." "That sounds like a liquidity problem," I said coldly. "If you can't pay, I guess I'll have to proceed with the foreclosure. I've always wanted to own a hotel." King looked at me with pure hatred. He realized his intimidation tactics weren't working. He realized that a small electrician held the keys to his empire. "You'll regret this," he hissed. He turned around and stormed out. He thought he could find another way. He thought he could bully the city into letting him open anyway. He was wrong.
Thursday passed. King tried to get a bridge loan from a private lender, but nobody would touch the project with an active lien on the title. Then came Friday, D-Day, 24 hours until the grand opening. The final hurdle was the fire marshal and the city building inspector. They needed to sign off on the building to grant the Certificate of Occupancy, a CO. Without a CO, King couldn't legally let guests inside. I knew the inspector. His name was Bill. He was a stickler for the rules. I called Bill that morning. "Hey, Bill, just a heads up on the Royal Monarch. There's an active legal dispute regarding the electrical system. The contractor hasn't been paid, so the warranty on the electrical work is technically void." "Void?" Bill asked. "Yes," I said. "If I haven't been paid, I can't guarantee the safety of the circuits. There might be unresolved issues." Bill drove to the hotel at noon. King was there, waiting with a bottle of scotch to celebrate the inspection. "Sorry, Mr. King," Bill said, putting his pen away. "I can't sign off on the electrical. The contractor has flagged the system as disputed. Until the lien is resolved and the contractor certifies the work, I cannot issue the Certificate of Occupancy." "But the governor is coming tomorrow night," King pleaded. "The media is coming." "Then they will be standing on the sidewalk," Bill said. "If you open those doors without a CO, I will have the fire department chain them shut." King collapsed into a chair in the lobby. He was beaten. At 4 p.m. on Friday, my phone rang. "You win," King said. His voice was barely a whisper. "Send me the wiring instructions. I also want a written apology and tickets to the opening." "Don't push it," King growled. "Just the money then,"
I said. $165,000. That includes the late fees and the stress you caused me. Fine, he said. I sent the instructions to his lawyer.
At 4:55 p.m., 5 minutes before the banks closed for the weekend, the notification hit my phone. Wire transfer received $165,000. I called Saul immediately, released the lien. Saul filed the satisfaction of lien electronically. He emailed the confirmation to the bank and to Bill, the inspector. The bank released the funds. Bill signed the CO. The grand opening happened on Saturday night. I didn't go inside, but I drove past it. The hotel was lit up beautifully. My lights. I saw Marcus King standing on the red carpet, shaking hands with the governor. He was smiling for the cameras, pretending he was the master of the universe. But when he saw my truck drive by slowly, his smile faltered. He looked away. He knew that for 48 hours he wasn't the boss. I was. I paid my brother and the apprentices their bonuses the next day. We took the extra money and upgraded our equipment. Marcus King never hired me again, and that is fine. But word got around in the construction industry. Other developers heard the story. They learned that Tom from Spark Electric is a great electrician, but a dangerous enemy. Since then, I haven't had a single client miss a payment. The lesson here is simple. In business, contracts are good, but leverage is better. If you build something with your hands, make sure you know how to protect it with the law. Never let a billionaire treat you like a beggar. You built their castle. You can lock them out of it. Thanks for watching. If you are a contractor or freelancer struggling with unpaid invoices, check out the link in the description on how to file a lien in your state. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay sparked.